Hello and welcome to the Gasam Waxtan show. This is a program that is meant to give a platform to Gambian students in Morocco, the opportunity to discuss very relevant issues. And today I am your host, Ibrahim Jallo, the PRO of the association. With me here, I have a very special guest, that is Usman El Kamara. He is somebody who don't need introductions in Gasam because he actually served in many leadership positions, like in very important leadership positions in the association. So if you talk about Usman, you talk about somebody who is very active in the association. In fact, last year, you were awarded as the most active, in the association, which is very, special award. So that shows when there's some calls, you are never how to call it, left behind. So once again, you are welcome to the program. So on our today's subject or topic of discussion, we have leading the way and enhancing leadership in Gasam. Uh, we will be discussing some of your experiences when it comes to the association. I mean, you have served for about two very important roles in the association as a general secretary, and at the same time, you are currently serving as a member of our auditory board or the G3 board. So you are someone with a very rich background in the association as well. Uh, my first question, or before I bring any question, I will welcome you to the program once again, man.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much, Usman. Now I think we can just get into the program. But I know today everything would be in the context of Gasam. I know we said it's leadership, but it's actually leadership in the context of Gasam itself. So can you kindly tell us what is leadership, especially like when we centralize it in Gasam level? I mean, how would you define leadership?
To me, if leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. In general, for me, that is what leadership is all about. How do you translate your vision into a reality? What are the visions individual Gassamians do have for Gassam? First, you have to understand what is the reality of Gassam. Who are we as an association that has been clearly defined by the Gassamian constitution? Read that and understand as a newly formed member. When you understand Gassam, you look at the status quo, you understand the reality. Then from there, you can build your own visions for Gassam on that basis, and then you can stand for a position to bring those visions to a reality through leadership. For me, that is leadership.
Thank you very much. That is indeed a very brief and solid explanation of what leadership is. So, I mean, given like the positions that you serve, I think that is something we do not just start like that. I mean, you do not just come and start serving the association. I have the feeling you have so many people that actually inspired you to come up, serve very solid leadership roles in the association. So, who were some of these people that inspired you, especially at the level of Gasam, to come up and then serve the association?
All right. Well, prior to coming to Morocco, I've been in this kind of things. Been with two organizations, community-based organizations in the Gambia that I'm part of. Their leaderships and then things like that. So I'm kind of not familiar prior to coming to Morocco on these issues. So, but first, when I came to Morocco, I thought this was an opportunity to relax from all these things and maybe I could take a break for a while. But when we came, we find a very good executive around. That was the Golden Gasam executive, the Husseinus, yeah, Toures, Mama Jang, and others. They kind of did something great. They started initiating the construct the Gasam website, bringing programs together. Things were a little bit, good at that time. Then I was, inspired from them. Then the MD was a PRO, Hussein president. Then you have, you know, Mama Jang, the treasurer. Then they were a good team. So they show us what Gasam is all about as a family here to help one another, build each other's capacities. Then came another executive, GPU, Western Elections, led by Choi. Yeah, they did their part. We thank them for their services, but I could see there was a little bit inclination from the performance from the side of the executive. So that year, people like us were critical with them. People will say you guys only criticize. But then it rings an alarm. I think maybe it's true. So maybe why not before you just sit behind, come forward and then try to do these things your way. Then I used to talk with Sanusi a lot. We will talk on the phone for more than 1 hour. When I was in McNally, he was but it's a good elder of mine, so we do talk a lot. So try to put ideas together. So why not you? Was able to convince Sanusi to come on board. Then we have who was supposed to lead the team because I never wanted to be the president also because back home Gambia I was kind of into trading, so I wanted to get back step. But then I know you have to bring someone who understand the dynamics more than me of Gasam. And another time when I look at it, was MJ was viable option. So he was just coming from serving almost 2 years from serving from as the Gasam PRO. Then he didn't want to come back, so had to pay fare from Agnes to Rabat to convince MJ to take on board so that he can lead the team. Then we are able to restructure the team, the Gasam Plus. Then the people has to follow in and call some of the seniors like Mama and bringing them on board so that we can draw a roadmap for the blueprint for what we wanted to achieve. How do we transform Gasam the way it was to put it on a better structure, bring in some programs, new ones that has never been existed. So prior to, in fact, designating position to whosoever wanted to be in a particular position, we just draft the entire programs and policies of all what we wanted to do in that year, draw the budget and everything from there. We proposed then there was no sports secretary in the custom constitution. It was only the finance secretary, that was no treasurer. So we bring in constitutional, we force pass an amendment proposal to the executive to separate the finance secretary from the treasurer, making two positions for accountability purpose based on the previous experience, the previous year experience, and then introduce the sport department as well as a constitutional proposition, amendment proposition. So we were able to pass that and achieve that. Then we are able to set our goals based on those grounds, and then we stand for election. Luckily, all the team members who secure their position in the next executive Gasam process, and we do what we can in that year, lay foundations, introduce the Waxtan. This Waxtan we are doing here, it was initiated by Gasam Plus, the Gasam 2 programs. The website was done, we reintegrate the website back again. We bring in the mentorship program, the Gasam Go about internship. We started the idea, but couldn't continue in the following year. So yes, we did a lot. We provide football jersey for Gasam, things like that. So we were able to also compile the Gasam constitution, amended constitutions, but in different versions. So we try to bring all the amended constitution into one constitution to make it, very simple for association. So just that is among the few things we did. So alhamdulillah, I think we have achieved something from there, and that serves as a basis for the next executive that we are seeing some of the programs that have been continued. So yeah.
That is a very beautiful background, Mr. Usman. I think, like when we talk about Gasam, Gasam is really not now, honestly. Like things hasn't started now. It has started long with that. There are people who really work hard for this association. I mean, you mentioned the likes of Hussein, MJ, yourself. I mean, everybody who knows these people who really know this. I mean, Gasam really have people that were enough to actually inspire everybody to come forward and serve the association. And you made mention of a very interesting part. I mean, where before you come as an executive, I mean, you had that group or that team to work together. I mean, to organize everything so that when you come to office, you just, work well and work very, very smoothly. That is indeed a very, very interesting thing. And I think those that are planning to come up for these upcoming elections, it's a very important part to learn from or to emulate from you. That so Gasam hasn't started from now, honestly, because since the time of Dr. Jaide, if he is somebody, when you talk to him about Gasam, or when he talks to you about Gasam, you always get inspired. You know that Gasam really, it's not today that it started. So you have these special people that actually, bring Gasam to where it is today. Today, I can say all that are here, we the genius, we are enjoying. I mean, what you guys have. I mean, honestly, we are enjoying it. So,
we are hoping on that because as one of my good elder will always tell me, the final test of a leader is that he leaves behind him in other men the conviction and then the will to carry on. So if you serve all this time and then you don't see behind you, you will have the conviction and then the will to carry on. I think you are certainly a fair leader. So we hope you all not kind of those people, but we thank the other previous ones because they are indeed great leaders.
Definitely, and that really we are honestly, because Gasam, I mean, having an experience in Gasam is a complete different thing. But I mean, we've seen people who have never got any experience when it comes to leadership, or when they comes to Gasam, it's just like a complete transformation. myself alike. I mean, the year that I joined, I mean, Gasam is one of the first associations that I started to participate in these leadership roles. Honestly, Gasam is a life-changing, I mean, association. I mean, it builds you in different aspects. So when it comes to how Gasam impacts people, can you, I mean, just throw some light on that?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm saying, I mean, the impact that Gasam actually have on people. I mean, be it those that, I mean, volunteer as executive or all Gasam.
Yeah. But what the reality here is, no matter what kind of experience you have in other associations, Gasam had added me a lot of values. And I'm sure it does that for a lot of people as well who had more experience than me prior coming to Morocco. It's always an experience to be part of people leading. It's a different circumstances as other to other organizations, different realities. Yeah, we are all here as students. You do not have let's say an oversight body that are of age and of much of experience when it comes to Morocco, because people transition. Morocco is a transition place. You come,
Mhm.
the more you are, the more you think that you have a lot of experience, your time is off, you leave Morocco. But then people come in again. So you see the gap difference of experience is not that too much. First, you spend 1 year in Morocco, you test almost the entire realities of Morocco. So is the other one in the fifth year, just the same realities repeating every year. But now, within that reality, it's different composition of people from different background, different field of studies. You as an individual, you came to the leadership position to serve those people. It's a challenge, despite no matter what, because you have your education to take along. You wanted to serve on the needs of other people. We all know it's very hectic to serve in leadership. Not that much hectic if you don't really much plan yourself is an easiest way, but that's very easy in leadership. So in first thing that to me the advantage in serving Gasam is it always grow up your complexity to multitask. You have school. As students, we all know education is a priority here, number one priority. But when you are able to carry something heavy as an association like some almost up to 200 members, and needs along with your education without having problem, bro, you have grown up in a ways that you yourself did not realize.
Mhm. Mhm. Sure.
So as I said, if you are able to take your education here successfully and then carry your responsibilities as per the constitution of Gasam simultaneously, you will not realize that you have grown in person in complexity. You are able to multitask. That is very important. You can work under that stress that you have things to needs of the students. Perhaps some of them they write, people like me, I don't have my code yet. Maybe perhaps on Monday, if I still don't have my code, I will text Omar. So if Omar will able to leave his school and then go to AMC to settle my problems, it is multitasking as a leader. One day you might find yourself in those situations. It's not always about a principal thing, but also auxiliary things that comes along. It's also a complexity. It grows you as an individual, trying to look after others. It's very important. We are all here. One day we are all expected to go back to Gambia. Maybe perhaps I think that's my belief. But we'll one day all want to be leader institutions. To lead an institution, you need enormous experience. How do you interact with people? How do you know their needs? How do you cater for them? How do you take the global vision of collectively to realize it? That it doesn't just come once in a at an instant. It's a transformative experience that you have to acquire, and then Gasam is a place to acquire those experience. You're not here under any force or anything, but you are just serving voluntarily at your own time, as you will, based on the programs that you campaign on. Also, it's a place to grow up attitudes. Unlike Gambian, where say across Africa, politicians will come on from his name Portugal, they will never bring you to realize it. But here is a place to, at least add that value to yourself. This is what I campaign. I will try and realize it here. It's a place for us to test our ideas, to test our vision, then to see, it's an experimental tool for me, as I always say. Because it's an experimental tool for all of us to test our ideas here before we are given realities over the other face, and it's going to be catastrophic to the lives of other people. Try it now here. It's always possible. So Gasam, there's a lot of advantages having Gasam.
Definitely multiple of advantage, like from multitasking to building your capacities. I mean, you think that you are only serving, but one interesting thing about Gasam, like when you are in it, I mean, you build yourself both personally, professionally. I mean, you volunteer, you serve people. I mean, which is something very, very, I mean, amazing, because if you can in any way, impact the lives of people, that is something that one should be proud of.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
plus, you've talked about, I mean, Gasam being an experimental ground. Of course, it is. Like Gasam is one of, I mean, this a such platform that you can come and experience yourself. It doesn't mean you have to be experienced to come and experiment. But come experiment in Gasam first to get the experience that might help you to be in a better position. At least when you get back to the Gambia, you will be able to handle responsibilities that you have never thought of. You would be able to. So it starts from now and it starts from Gasam.
Leadership is not it's not an instant acquired thing. Great leaders, they are not born, but they are made. So we all expect each and every one of we right now, as we are all expecting our leaders back home in the Gambia to be these great leaders. Perhaps some of those people they don't acquire the right skills at the right time. Some of them are learning on the job at the disadvantage of the people. But here is an opportunity for us to try those things. As us as an executive, we didn't achieve everything we wanted to achieve. The Gasam Go project covered the internship, provide helping to organize establishing a liaison between here and institutions in the Gambia. If anyone wants to do internship when they go to Gambia, we started that. We were able to compile most institutions. But, that was this bridge of problem in getting them, close contacts for the alumni. They were much occupied at that time, so that was we did not achieve that, but we were able to establish something. But among other projects, we are able to achieve them. But as well, we develop ourselves and we understand the realities what is in Gambia through the Gasam Go project. How do you establish connection? Those things. It was a learning point for us, but it was in an achievement when it comes to the level of Gasam. So, but yet still it's an advantage because it still serves the purpose of Gasam, building ourselves.
Yes, definitely. And one interesting thing about Gasam, like if you are really in Gasam, you understand the realities of even how, let me say, how a government works. Because just look at, for example, those projects that you're talking about. They were projects that were introduced by, since in the times of Gasam through excellence, something like that. Even the time of when MJ was a PRO, I think this Gasam Waxtan that we are on here today, this program was introduced by during their time. So you see,
It was during the Gasam Pros our time the Waxtan came. When
exactly,
he was a president.
the president. Okay, exactly. So you see how interesting it is. It doesn't mean the project have to come when their tenure is finished, the project end, but it have to continue. Every year it undergoes improvements. Every executive that come, they execute so many activities under that same project. So it's very interesting when it comes to Gasam. You learn to how to work with people, improve yourself. So in a nutshell, there are numerous advantages when it comes to working with Gasam. So
Yes.
I just want you to press a little bit on, encouraging people to come forward and apply whenever it is time for whenever application processes are being started for the elections.
Yeah, that is very important. I think this year people ought to be a little bit ashamed to wait for people to follow them. You guys have to apply calling people individual. I think this year we're supposed to avoid that. Also, another advantage this year is that was a constitutional amendment that happened before. It was like electoral committee used to be formed 2 weeks prior to the election, but this year it's 1 month prior, based on the last amended constitution. So you have 1 month to decide to come forward, to serve, to develop yourself. I think that is very important. As I will always think, before you are a leader, thinking the leaders outside there, I'm talking about outside world. Success should always be about developing yourself. How do I grow myself, doing yourself? That is how success is supposed to be for you. But then when you become a leader, success should be about growing others. Right now, we're all aspiring to be great leaders. The focus now is supposed to be how do we develop ourselves right now? How do we grow ourselves? Here is an opportunity, a very, very rare opportunity. Some people who are doing masters, when you're done, you're going home. There's no time that you have to integrate in other association somewhere in Gambia to learn skills. You're going directly to the workforce. People finish their bachelor's, they are going directly to the workforce. Where are you going to learn that experience? With your bachelor's degree, you go, they give you a position to man. That's the time to learn on the job. I don't think that is advisable to do that. Already we are complaining as a society, we're not advancing. That advancement, it's not basically comes like that. It's not only about the books we learn from school. It's not just about that. But how do you transform those things? How do you inculcate them with working with other people? Associations like Gasam are for that. It helps you establish that liaison between the human force, the dynamic working situation, and to your knowledge you have. How can you be able to build that relationship? Gasam is just for that. It's not just about bringing a project like Waxtan established. No. But that Waxtan is it's the sense of communication where people can share their thoughts. That is an idea in a greater perspective. But doing so, you are building a conscience on something that and, communication is important in an association. People should be able to share their free thoughts in this way. That is a value adopted from here. Other programs, the Bantapas and other things, you follow other people's ideas, debate on ideas, sacrificing for other people. Those are things you can acquire here. So it's very important also as students to be able to gather those things because to me, leadership is a combination of strategy and character. But if you must be without one, be without a strategy, but you must have the character of a leadership. Character is something that you lift upon. You must have to acquire it. You must experience it. It's about attitudes. So if you don't try to do something, you will never acquire that experience. You never try to acquire that character. You never acquire that attitudes. And leadership, that is what it's all about. So you might not have strategies for Gasam. You might not have new projects to bring in for Gasam. But so long you can fulfill the mandate of the constitution on Gasam, the constitution is very clear. Just for instance, the secretary, you just have to be the custodian of the Gasam constitution to make sure the executive whatsoever they do is in conformity with the constitution. You're supposed to take the minutes of the constitution, take a proper record of the Gasam records. You don't need to go and innovate another project that you have to write or whatsoever. It's an obligation on the Gasam constitution. But in we do just executing the mere responsibility stated by the constitution, you have an opportunity to develop yourself. So people have to come forward, and then we also owe it to the next generation to come. People before us have sacrificed, make life better for all of us. I will take an example. Just as my recent stay in Rabat, I have received a lot of calls from individuals. I'm sending this through CTM. Please deposit for me at AMSI. Please do this. Please do that. And when I'm frustrated, oh, I am in school, I cannot do it. I'll always call the executive, and they will never say no. They will always execute those things. When even I call those students who call me, have this guy responded to your call or something, they will always tell me yes in affirmative. That is, I'm not counting now those who are directly contacting the executive. That is enormous, too much. People are doing that for you, and they did that for other people. I think it's going to be fair. You also extend that hand to the next ones below you, whilst you develop yourself in that process. So there is no odd in serving Gasam. I will always repeat that there is no odd in serving Gasam. Perhaps other places serving in other institutions, there's always a disadvantage to some extent. But here there is not to me. Because I don't see any barrier that will stop you or the kind of a workload in Gasam that will disturb your education. It's not there. So come forward, develop yourself. There is 1 month prior to the election for one to design, one to develop your manifesto and proposals. You have seniors around who can help you in developing, trying to restructure your ideas on your manifestos. They will be guide to you. If you want, contact the former executives who has passed in those positions. They should be able to share their experiences with you on what are the things expected. Then you can build yourself and your ideas based on that, and then come forward to participate. So I think it's very important that this year we try to avoid not to be persuaded to come forward, but to come forward voluntarily to serve.
Yes, I think I had some little connection interruptions, but anyway, I actually got what you were saying. I mean, you mentioned this point. I mean, when you in Gasam, like you got a lot of things, like a lot of advantages, ranging from building yourself, from serving others. But there's this also important thing. When you are a member in Gasam, you can. I mean, everybody understand the realities on ground. How these executives, how these people who sacrifice to be there for you, I mean, do all that is necessary to make sure that they keep you comfortable here in Morocco. I mean, they make your stay in Morocco to be, I mean, memorable stay, ranging from the documentations that you have at AMSI, from all sort of works that you cannot do for yourself, but they will be there to do it on behalf of you. So
Yeah.
you realize that it is just like a debt. It's just like a debt that you have. I mean, and you are required to pay, even not to pay directly, but you have people also to serve. So like it's just like a cycle. I mean, they serve you, you serve them. They serve you, you serve another person. That so now is the right time. The people that are there have done it for you. So actually, it is the right time for you also to step ahead and then just continue the let's keep the momentum as Gambian students here in Morocco, and let's
Certainly.
continue making our stay here a very memorable and wonderful stay.
Yes. I think that is very important.
Definitely. So on that note, we've mentioned few very important points. I mean, which are enough for to serve as a motivation for everybody. I mean, for every Gasamian to step ahead and handle leadership roles in Gasam and even beyond. So, Osman, before we end the program, normally it's work time, so it's not that very long. We have 30 minutes leisure. So, what is your advice? I mean, do you have any advice or last word?
Yeah, certainly. Because it is very important. Election is coming. People have to come forward. It's not like it's an option, but we must have to come forward because in periods where there is no leadership, society stands still. So progress occurs when courageous, skillful leaders seize the opportunity to change things for better. So you have to come forward and then seize the opportunity to give Gasam what it wants to have because we all owe that to Gasam. We all owe that to Gasam. And then one thing also I wanted to add on that is outstanding leaders around the world, they go out their way to boost the self-esteem of their personnel. You have to go out there. You know, if people believe in themselves, it's amazing what they can accomplish. It is always there. And there's no perfect individual. We are all here to learn, help one another, guide one another. So I think it's very important that we seize the opportunity to be there. Successful leaders seize the opportunity in every difficult rather than the difficulty in every situation, in every opportunity. So I think it's important. Don't see the situation to be a complex one. See it as a very easy text that you come here to do that. The challenge of leadership is to be strong, but not rude. That's an advice you're gonna give to people. The real challenge in leadership or of leadership is to be strong, but not rude. Be kind to people that you are serving, but not be a weaker version. Because a leader shouldn't be weak in your own executing your responsibilities. Be bold enough to tackle challenges, to face, bring in your ideas. Be bold enough to come forward, to stand as an executive, to stand for the president, vice president, treasurer. You have to do that. But not be timid to be sitting behind the or side of that. You can never explore that complexity in you. Be proud as a member of Gasam, not just as a follower of Gasam. But doing that, you cannot be arrogant as well. So have the honor to serve, have the honor to serve people behind you. It's very important as a cardinal principle of humanity. We have the honor to come forward to serve people. Personally, I think that's best all Lord I can say to Gasamians. Come forward to serve. There is no disadvantage in that. Smart leaders know what they don't know. Learning is a constant process, you know, throughout your personal life. And it doesn't stop when you have become a team leader. No. Make sure to never stop looking for opportunities for personal development and pass on the wisdom you have learned to your people. If we all have this concept, I think we could be in a better society, across. Doesn't just stop to Gaza. So I think it's very important that we seize the opportunity to come and do things. To be a great leader, there is no such thing as challenge too big to handle. That there is a challenge that is too big to handle. Once you adopt this attitude, your people will follow suit, and every problem will present an opening of great achievement. Gasam will flourish in Morocco. Students will have a good time to pass here without flying colors, acquire skills, go back home and have impact. So I think that's my advice to my colleagues as the election is approaching.
Indeed, we had that together, so seize the opportunity now. Apply in advance. In fact, if you can do all the process in advance, so that when it is time, you just submit your documents and you'll be at ease, to handle your position after you win the elections, hopefully.
Yeah.
So, Usman, thank you so very much for joining us. Hopefully, the followers or our viewers would enjoy the episode and then they will learn a lot and they will be inspired by the few words that you have said here. It is indeed a very
Pleasure.
big pleasure having you around today. Thank you.
Pleasure is mine. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.